Hello and welcome to the Gymnastics Network. I am your host, Isaac Hammett, joined with my friend and co-host,
Kenny Johnson.
Today we are going to go over the Winter Cup results, showing you the Day 2 winners' routines and all of their scores as well. We will be going over the national team and how those spots were allocated. And we have a few quotes from gymnasts competing along with an exclusive interview from our all-around Winter Cup champion, Cameron Bach of Michigan. It is going to be a very exciting episode with jam-packed of information. So let's jump into it here. Let's go straight into our document. This document was released by the MPC, basically telling everybody how the national team was selected. So by the time that we're done going through this document, it'll take a couple of minutes. You'll know exactly who is on the national team and why. Kenan?
Yeah, so we're just going to start on, we're going to say who was voting on the national team. So we have Mike Serra, Justin Spring, Randy Jepsen, Kip Simons, Sergey Panchik, and Paul Ruggieri are the people that are voting. And then you can see the people under the highlighted area, or the people who had a voice but did not vote. So now we're going to take a look at our top 6 spots on based off of day 1 of Winter Cup. And that is going to be Cameron Bach, Riley Luce, Yul Moldauer, Shane Whiskes, Alan Bauer, and Paul Judah. All those guys received a national team spot because they placed top 6 based off their first day of Winter Cup, and they already had confirmed their national team spot. So, moving forward, we have the next 4 spots were allocated to Adrian D. Los Angeles, Vitaly Gumeres, Isaiah Drake, and Genki Suzuki. And those are based off of the 20-point system, and those guys qualified through national team over the 2 days off the 20-point system. Based off the ranking between day 1 and day 2, they were given points awarded, and those are the top 4 guys based off the points outside of the top 6 in the all-around. So that makes up the first 10 spots of the national team. Next, we're going to look at the last 2 funded spots of the national team. So the last 10 guys that we just mentioned are all on funding, and the next 2 spots are funded in their additional spots for the national team. And those are allocated to Sam Mikulak. And you could see inside the document says the MPC determined that the last 2 funded spots, they have a priority on the 4-man Olympic team for Tokyo. And they're focused on all-around athletes. And I think they made a pretty good decision picking Sam Mikulak and Akash Modiz. Those are 2 no-brainers, very good all-around gymnasts. And that was based off their past performance, as they were not competing at Winter Cup this year. And they earned 2 funded spots for the national team. So next we're going to look at the last 6 unfunded spots. So the national team actually was expanded by 8 spots this year, 2 of which that were funded that we just went over, and 6 of which that are not funded but are going to be given a spot on the team for various reasons. So the MPC determined that Brody Malone, Grant Beckeridge, Colin Van Wicklen, who are all eligible for Pan American Championships, should be added to the senior national team based off their relevant performance results. So basically, they wanted the guys that can go out there and compete on an international setting, which is why they're mentioning that they are eligible for the Pan American Championships, which the U.S. will use to qualify for the Olympics. So that was the first 3 spots that the MPC had allocated. The next spots come to Donnell Wittenberg, and they identified him as eligible for the Pan American Championships and a strong addition for the national team based off his Winter Cup results and previous performance results. Donna Wittenberg, very good vault gymnast, very good rings guy, and actually can swing a little bit of high bar in my opinion. So, very good spot over there. The final 2 spots are going to be given to specialist Steven Netarasik. Based off his current and prior scores, a motion was made and seconded to select him to the national team, and the motion was passed with a 4-0. And just so that you guys know, Justin Spring and Randy Jepsen are current head coaches at the respective gyms of Illinois and Penn State. So both of them were recused because of their own personal interests. Alex Dieb being Justin Spring's gymnast, and Steven Netarasik being Randy Jepsen's gymnast. So both of them were not present for that vote, and it was a unanimous vote 4-0. As for the final spot, Trevor Howard was identified by previous performance results as such an athlete. A motion was made and seconded to select Trevor Howard for the final spot, and he passed 5-0. So, and Justin Spring was not there for that vote as well. So that is all 18 spots of the national team and how they were allocated.
Yeah, so another thing to mention, too, is this is why they wanted more than 12 athletes on the senior national team. It was basically to ensure that they had a big enough pool of athletes for the upcoming international events, given that it's an Olympic year. So like Cannon said earlier, the Senior Pan Am Championships, which can enter the U.S. to get an extra spot for anybody at Tokyo, can be has to be an absolute priority. So that was one of the main reasons why they did it. Also, Tokyo Olympic team. And then looking at the specialists with Steven, for the +1 spot to Tokyo. That's kind of what they were talking about as well. And then the Tokyo all-around test event, which is because there's no longer Olympic qualifier. It's just a test event for guys to be able to go out and kind of check it out. Pan American Games currently, as you can see here, there is no directive, set date, or location for Pan Am's currently, but current information indicates that it will be in Brazil in early June, but that is possible to change. The Tokyo Test event is a plan to send one athlete and one reserve athlete. We need to determine how the athletes will be named for this event. That's talking from the NPC, and Winter Cup results will be too far from this event. So we should use a virtual event closer to the competition. So you're going to see them go into another selection plan to actually get somebody for the Tokyo Test event. But that's pretty much it for this. This other part here just touches on why guys were selected for the extra 2 funded spots. And also, yeah, I think that's about it. That is about it. If you want to learn more about it, this document, we can put it in the description. It's very, 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 very interesting. So
link in the description for the document if you guys would like to read it yourself.
All right. So jumping off of that, let's get into the Winter Cup stuff. So gotta pull up some routines on Twitter here, just because unfortunately some of the videos that we were trying to find this year were not available through really any avenue that we could go. So the best way that we found to view them was people had reposted them on Twitter. So here's Shane Whiskes. Shane Whiskes had an absolute great weekend this weekend. You can see Shane, he scored an overall score of 28.55. Really good stuff from Shane there. As we kind of watch this routine, he really put it down, especially in the second day, I believe. He scored a 14.55 for Shane, and he's just been doing a great job.
Yeah. So you guys can see the second place guy being Eddie Penev, and third was Joel Moldauer. Important to mention that Riley Luce did win floor first day, and vault. Riley Luce also won floor and vault first day, but pulled out of the meet, allowing Shane to step in. So that is why you're gonna see an absence of Riley here on floor when I'm sure the results show that Riley won floor that first event.
But yeah, good finish for our friend Shane there. He did a great job. I'm gonna pull up an overlay that we can look at here for Shane. Let's get that up here. Apologize, that was supposed to be up earlier. But here we go. So Shane, that routine started him at 15.7. He scored a 14.55 and an execution score of 8.85. Shane killed it at Winter Cup, man. He went first on floor, third on rings, third on vault, second on B-bars, second on high bar, and he scored fourth in the all-around. He struggled a little bit during the first day, and that's why I don't think that he was able to, break into the top 3 in the all-around. But he really came back second day and, absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, really good performance from Shane. So we're going to kick it to the event overview.
Yep. So looking here at the event overview here, this is all the scores from Winter Cup in day 1 and in day 2. So you can see the top 3 guys there. as well. And you can see Shane's 14.55. If you want to, pause the video, take a minute, look at all of that stuff. It's all there for kind of your enjoyment. Moving on now into the Pommel Horse. We had Alec Yoder taking home the gold this year. As you can see from this video, Alex sent us this video. It's pretty hard to find the day 2 video, but Alex was generous enough to send it out to us. Alex starts from a 16.4, scored a 14.85. Good execution score. He got first on Pommel Horse, but he also got third on parallel bars, so good stuff from him. In 2020, he was a Winter Cup Pommel Horse champion as well, and in 2019, also the NCAA champion. You can see Alec put up a 29.5 for his combined score for the weekend. And then we have in second place Stephen Netarasik with a 29.05. And then in third place we have Cameron Bach with a
28.0.
With a 28.0, yes.
So really good stuff from them. But now we actually have a quote from Stephen Netarasik about his competition and his performance.
Yeah, so we also threw it to Steven here. We were able to get some great stuff from Steve. We got a quote from Steven to kind of talk about his experience, and somebody was generous enough to repost Steven's second day routine as well, so we're able to kind of look at this. It's a 15.6. He did a very, very, very nice job putting it down on horse on the second day. Unfortunately, first day he did fall, but as you can see from his quote there, warm-ups went well, but I was able to hit a solid set, referring to the second day, though not nearly as good as the ones I have done in practice. I am happy with the results of the competition, but that 15.6 won't hold internationally. It's time to clean up and get back into the competition mindset.
Hungry dog mentality right there. Steve's always looking to get better.
Yeah, bounces down, but, he's ready to bounce right back up. So, big ups to Stephen Netarasik for putting it down this weekend on his second day. And also to Alec Yoder, man. He did a great job, too. He took home the gold, so.
So kicking into the event overview, we obviously have our victor, Alec Yoder, put up a 14.85, 29.5 overall for day 2. In second place was Stephen Netarasik with a 29.05, 15.6 highest score of second day. And in third place, we have Cameron Bach at a 13.7 and a 28.0 total score.
So really good stuff coming out from our friends over on the Pommel Horse. Now kicking it over into the rings. Let's get talking about Alex Dieb. Alex Dieb ended up taking home the rings title this weekend with a 14.95 second day. This is his second day routine. So massive, massive score from Alex Dieb. You don't see that very often, especially on rings in the United States. So Alex in his combined totals put up a 29.8. That's huge.
We got to talk about how I feel like he was snubbed from national team.
Oh, we'll get to that. So second, we got Donna Wittenberg at a 28.8. And then in third, we had a tie with Cameron Bach and Shane Whiskes at a 28 flat. So as you can see, Alex is at an international level here. An international finalist level. His routine is absolutely perfect. All of his skills are held the correct amount of time. All of his skills are perfectly level. Everything that he does is basically perfect. And watch this dismount. Just a stick as well. I mean, you can't do a ring routine better than what Alex just did right there. So people took it to Twitter here. And Daniel Ribeiro was not very happy that Alex Dieb did not make national team, as many people were. And as you can see from the tweet there, Alex's 14.95 would have won a gold medal at the 2019 World Championships, but that's not enough to put him on the 18-man national team. What more do you want from him?
Yeah, Dieb, he just doesn't really have many other events, in my opinion. And internationally, he would not have scored a 14.95, even though I do think that he should be on the U.S. national team currently.
So I'm going to have to differ with you on that. I think he would have scored that high internationally. Alex starts from a 16-0, and I have gone through and watched a lot of world championships. Alex is right there, especially form-wise, with all of those guys. So we went the extra mile here, and we actually pulled up the scores from the last World Championships, okay? So as you can see from the start value here, Alex has a start value that would allow him to enter into this ring final world that you're seeing here on the screen. There is a 6-0 that exists in here, and I've watched that 6-0 routine from Nick there, from Germany. Alex does a cleaner set than he does. And he's scoring higher even in the United States. So what if Alex took the gold here at this competition? We'll never know because he wasn't there. But given this performance, I think that he should be able to at least have a shot being on the national team to go out and continue doing international competitions.
He definitely deserves a shot at being on the national team. Shout out Alex Dieb and Daniel Ribeiro, always sticking up for his gymnast.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So, kicking into the event overview, we have in first Alex Dieb, who we just saw on screen. In second place, we have Donnell Wittenberg with a 28.0, put up a 14.25 second day. And in third place, we have Cameron Bach, put up a 28.0, put up a 13.9 second day.
So let's move on. Let's get talking next about the vault, right? Vault winner this year was our good friend Eddie Penev. Eddie put it down on vault this weekend. This is his second day vault. He scored a 14.6, had an execution score of 9.4. He got first on vault, and he actually got second on floor at Winter Cup this year. And as you can see, he had many other accolades as well. He's been a gymnast for a while. Watch this 2.5. I mean, pretty much textbook. Very, 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 very good stuff from Eddie. So we actually reached out to Eddie, try to get some talk with him to understand kind of what's going on with him.
Yeah, Eddie, just you guys can pause it if you guys wouldn't read it on a screen, but just a quick summary. Eddie is happy at the addition of the national team spots, and he actually was not super pleased with the way that the equipment is being handled. He doesn't really like the AAI equipment, and he feels that you cannot be competitive, especially him being such a proficient floor and vault guy. He feels that you cannot be competitive in the U.S. on this type of equipment, and it's actually being unsafe. So if you guys would like to, you guys can pause the video and read the DM conversations for yourselves, so you guys figure out what you got into it. But other than that, yeah, that's that. So kicking it to the vault event overview, we have Eddie Penev in first place with a 29.15. In second place, we have Mike Fletcher with a 28.5, scoring a 14.2 the second day. And tied for third place, we have Keywan Watts with a 28.4. He put up a 14.35 second day. And also Coy Young, incoming freshman to Stanford, put up a 14.55 second day. Really, really big stuff.
Yeah, it's not very often that you see a four-way tie for third place on vault. But just given that a lot of guys are doing the same vaults all the time, it can happen. But I kind of want to kick it back into what Eddie was talking about here. I don't feel like we touched enough on this one aspect, but Eddie seems to be very upset that the United States, from an international standpoint, is still using the AAI floor. According to Eddie, the AAI floor, and I've heard this from many other people as well, is not as springy and as bouncy as some of the other competitors. And I've heard a few gymnasts here in the United States complain that they feel that they're actually having to lower, they're doing lower start values in part due to the floor. They're saying that these foreign floors feel like trampolines, and then the AAI floor feels very slow, a lot of dead spots, and not enough bounce for them. So just wanted to kind of touch on that. Eddie was really adamant about that. So, but let's go into P-bars, man. Let's get talking about our friend Yul Moldauer here. We're going to pull his stuff up. Here's Yul's routine
right
from
off the top here.
Second day. Yul did a great job this weekend as well. I think he did place in the all-around. He got first on P-bars, third on floor, fourth on Pommel Horse, and third in the all-around. So really good stuff coming out from Yul this weekend. His P-bar start is actually massive. He starts at a 16.4. In this routine, he scored a 13.85 5, and he had some form breaks in there. So the fact that Yule can have form breaks on his parallel bar set and then still go out there and do such good P-bars says a lot about him as a gymnast.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a beautiful routine. But he just struggled a little bit in his handstand work, and that skill right there in particular also. It's all a laid out scores, but really good routine and really big finish right there. Double front half, that's a really big dismount, F value skill. So really good stuff from Yule. Kicking into the event overview, in first place we have Yule Moldauer scoring a 28.15. In second place we have Shane Whiskes putting up a 27.75. And in third place we have Alec Yoder putting up a 27.45 respectively. Now on to the high bar. We're going to be looking at Genki Suzuki.
All right, so let's get talking about Genki here. Genki did a great job this weekend as well. I believe he made national team as well. And as you can see, he starts at a 15.2 on high bar. Not the biggest start in the world, but he does do a very, very clean high bar set. Put up a 13.6 on the second day. This is that routine. Execution score of 8.4. Like I said, he won high bar, got 6th on Pommel Horse, and got 8th in the all-around. So good stuff from Genki. You know, you can see some of his other accolades there. He has been to the Pan American Games that we had talked about in the beginning of the show. And then, you know, Shane Whiskes right behind him, and then Marvin Kimball right behind Shane. So high bar was pretty close, actually.
Nice stick.
And yeah, great stuff from our friend Genki here. As you can see from the event overview, high bar was actually really close. Whereas with a few other events, the top guys seemed to be really standing out. Whereas on high bar, it felt like we had a good chunk of guys that are all kind of around the same level, which I feel is really good for the U.S. So now we're going to kick it over into our all-around. So to kind of get talking about our all-around, I am excited for to talk about this because I feel like, you know, a lot of times on the show, we don't really get to talk about all-around. A lot of times we get to talk about singular routines just with kind of the way this show is formatted. But let's get into it. You know, Cameron Bach got first place. Absolute stud. He came out there, put it down, and did an amazing, amazing job. Also, too, second place, Riley Luce, Stanford gymnast, 83.25. Riley put it down as well. He didn't compete.
Pretty close to Cameron.
Very close to Cameron. But the thing was, Riley did not compete second day. I believe Cameron did. Riley ended up going back to Stanford to get into a quarantine so that he could actually end up competing this weekend at a meet that we're going to be casting on Friday as well as on Sunday. We have 2 Stanford meets this weekend, so keep an eye out for that. We're going to have some promos later. Third place, Yule Moldauer, 82.6. I think Yule had a little bit of a rougher first day. I know he fell on high bar. So I think once he starts cleaning up a little bit, especially on high bar, and he can put up a much bigger score on P-bars as well, I think he's going to be much higher than an 82. What do you think, Kenan?
Yeah, I think Yule could definitely be pushing Riley's numbers, and definitely Cameron. We have the absence of Sam Mikulek, obviously, and Akash Moody, but yeah, Yule is definitely in the top 3, and he's not 3. I'll tell you that. So, yeah, just a little bit of a disappointing showing for Yule, but I'm sure he's going to be back for U.S. champs, and he's going to be looking sharper than ever.
Yeah. Also, Shane Whiskes, Alan Bauer, Paul Judah, Adrian de Los Angeles, and Genki Suzuki. All really good stuff from all of those guys as well. All 8 of... Excuse me, the top 6 of these guys ended up making the national team, as you can recall, just for the all-around. So remember, all-around Winter Cup, top 6, make paid national team every time. So let's step in here now. We have Riley here. We're going to pull up Riley's
Next on the wall for Arizona State,
Riley did a pretty good job this weekend. There's no denying it. Riley put down on for the first day. This is that routine. He ended up scoring first place on vault at the first day. Remember, he got second on the all-around, and then last year at Winter Cup, he did get third on fours.
Yeah, it's a shame that Riley wasn't able to compete second day, but I understand he has to get back to his team. NCAA's is a little bit more important, especially if you already made senior national team. See, I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful set, and I think that Riley could have been out there to challenge Cameron Bach for that all-around if he competed second day. Because he looked sharper than ever. You could see in the quote, Riley talks about the added pressure that the podium had given him. And Riley went out there and he killed his routines. Obviously winning
Yeah, Riley went down to, and I'm really excited to watch him this weekend. Riley is a joy to watch on this game. And anytime we get the chance to cast him, it is really a blessing. To put something else into perspective, currently, watch this vault. Can't highlight it enough. Riley is currently doing the hardest vault in the United States at the senior level. And it's massive. And he's very consistent. Let's watch this one. My hands free too. Yeah! I mean,
it's extremely
yeah, it's insane. And I believe first day he ended up taking the gold.
Yeah, he won.
But, you know, as I said before, he didn't compete the second day. So it would have been interesting to see if he would have been able to beat Eddie out of Eddie's spot. But, you know, Riley showed out there the first day and did a really good job. So, to talk about something now, just to kind of throw it out there, we have two shows this weekend. We have a Stanford show and another Stanford show. It's Stanford versus Springfield on Friday. We also have Stanford versus Cal on Sunday. Stanford versus Cal will be in person, and we're actually releasing a bunch of promotional work leading up to that. And as well, we'll have all of our new overlay work. We kind of debuted it here, testing some stuff out. If that's so, hoping to see you there, and we're really excited for that. But now let's jump into the interview. We have an interview with Cameron Bach that we are going to play now.
The all-around winner.
Yeah, we're really excited to get an idea, you know, for you guys, so you can kind of see what's going on. Let's jump over. Hello and welcome to the Gymnastics Network. I am Isaac Hammett.
Cannon Johnson.
And today we are doing the post-game show for the Winter Cup 2021. Exciting weekend. Today we're joined by the all-around champion from the Winter Cup, Cameron Bach. Hello, Cameron. Thanks for being here today, bud. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate your time. For the fans that don't know you and don't know everything that they need to know about you, why don't you take a moment and introduce yourself?
I'm Cameron Bach. I'm a senior on the Michigan men's gymnastics team, studying economics, and yeah, that's about it.
Hey.
Pretty simple guy.
Man, I also studied economics, so that's really cool that I got another economics buddy.
I was going to be an econ major. I just switched to finance, so.
So, we saw you took home the gold this weekend at the Winter Cup Championships. It was an absolute blast to watch you go out there and do that during day one. Just kind of throwing it to you, though. How did you feel about your performance this weekend?
It was great. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest, probably one of the best performances all around that I've had in a while. This season's been pretty good, but I think, you know, my day one performance just pretty much capitalized on all the work I've been putting in the gym. So I was pretty happy with how every event went.
All right, nice. So we want to talk a little bit about the Winter Cup, and we want to talk about the difference between an NCAA competition versus what you just did, which is a Winter Cup. So can you do you care to talk about some of the differences?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think there are things about USAG competitions that are easier and some things that are harder. The big difference is that you don't have your team around you, pretty much screaming for you during your routine. You know, for some people that makes it harder. I just feel like, you know, it creates a little bit of a different vibe. So it was pretty quiet there in the arena. You know, there's no fans, especially this year. It was a little bit awkward, but you just gotta learn how to kind of do your routines, you know, in silence, I guess. So that's probably the biggest difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of guys that go out to competitions like that, and then it almost just seems like they're a completely different athlete because they're in a completely different scenario, right? It's entirely different when you're not only not competing with your team, but in such a quiet space, especially with COVID. So something I wanted to touch on then was, what was the COVID protocol like while traveling, all the way out to Winter Cup and actually being able to compete in the same location as all of these other guys? Did they have you do a lot of screening before? What was kind of that COVID-like process? How were they keeping you guys safe?
Yeah, so we had to basically sign up for this thing called Healthy Roster. It's like an app, and I think it's on on desktop too. But basically, it keeps track of all your like daily survey, like symptom checks, and we had to upload a PCR COVID test result before we got there. We get tested every day at Michigan, so it was nothing new for us. But then when we were there, we had to get, I think, 1 or 2 PCR tests again. And then we were just expected to fill out kind of the daily symptom check and get the temperature checks at the door. But besides that, just wearing the mask unless you're on the event. And they pretty much did as much as they could, to keep everyone safe. I thought it was pretty successful.
Well, the whole competition looks successful. The fact that you guys get tested every single day at Michigan, that's crazy. I know over at Penn State, it's maybe like 3 times a week, but that's good to Michigan that they're prioritizing that.
Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday for Penn State, I believe. But I want to ask you about the national team. So I want to say congratulations on making senior national team. That's a really big accomplishment. What do you think about the national team standing currently and some of the current changes that they've made to the national team?
Do you mean in terms of kind of the policy of making team or the people that made team?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Both? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think, the way that they're adding 6 unfunded spots this year, I really like that idea. I know that, the NPC has been talking about that for a while now, and so to finally see it implemented, in the Olympic year and give more guys opportunities, especially most likely more NCAA guys that wouldn't really need the funding if they're on scholarship, giving them those opportunities to compete in trials and everything. I think that's awesome. But, in terms of the guys who made the team, I think it's a great team. I think everyone who's currently on it, I guess it hasn't fully been decided for the remaining spots, but everyone that made it, had a great showing at Winter Cup and, totally well deserved.
Yeah. Yeah, all those guys, they definitely deserve their spots. Cameron the most, as he is the all-around champion. But I want to ask you, what was the routine that you were most happy about, and where do you think you could improve on?
Definitely I was most happy with vault. I've been struggling with my 2.5 for a couple of years now, honestly. So just to put down a good vault first event on that first day was a great feeling and really boosted the confidence. In terms of improvement, I also, just got to keep working on my vault. And there were just a few things, here and there I could work on. I was a little hoppy on floor and, dismount sticks, things like that. So I can always get better.
Yeah, there's always room for improvement. But, something that I was curious about, too, with kind of your competition, I thought that there was a little bit of a negative sentiment around you winning, which I thought was pretty inappropriate. I saw during the live stream that they said, Cameron Bach, unexpected winner. I was like, what? Who says that? I felt like that was completely inappropriate, first of all. And then second, I saw even later after a lot of stuff on Instagram, a lot of stuff on Twitter.
Surprise winner.
Yeah, surprise winner. And I saw a lot of people defending you in the comments being like, how are you going to rain on this kid's parade? He just had one of the greatest accomplishments of his life. Had an amazing meet. So something that I wanted to throw to you was, what do you have to say to those doubters? What do you have to say to those people that are saying this surprise win?
Yeah, I mean, I saw those articles too, and some of them portrayed it as objectively a surprise. Given that probably big names like Sam McCulloch and maybe like Akash and Trevor Howard weren't there. And the other articles I did see them, and I was a little disappointed as well. But I guess to the people who say it was a surprise, a dub is a dub.
Hey.
So a lot of people said the same thing about when Sam McCulloch made the team in 2012. So I feel the same way.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Yeah, a dub is a dub.
Because it is.
And Cameron Bach, he went out there and he got it done this weekend. So big ups to him. Isaac?
Yeah. Thanks, Cameron. That's about everything that we wanted to bring to you for today. If you have anything else that you want to shout out, this is your time, man. While you got the kind of floor here, either shout out your team, shout out some stuff you're working on, or something else that you want other people to see, or maybe a topic that you want to talk about.
Speak to the doubters. Speak to the doubters. That's what I'm about.
Yeah, I mean, I just appreciate you guys having me on, and then I guess I'll give a shout out to my team for supporting me always, and we're gonna have a great rest of the season. So,
well, you heard it here first. Michigan is going to be the NCAA champions for 2021. That's what I just heard. But
yes, sir.
Thanks, Cameron. We really appreciate your time, bud, and we'll see you in the very near future.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.